Hey, what's up everyone? Today we're going to take a look at this is a Quasar PLL multiplex circuit. Now somebody had told me what the PLL stands for, but I forgot. Anyway, this is a Quasar. This is kind of this is an all-in-one. We have our radio, cassette deck with a turntable. It's in really good shape, just dirty from sitting around, mainly here. I bought this probably beginning of last summer, 2024, beginning of the summer. And it's been sitting around waiting its turn, and now it's its turn. Let's see, power is on, okay. On this one, where are we at? Put it on tape. Our tape deck works. Radio works, but
phone as an
our turntable. See, on phone, okay. Unlock the tone arm. We're on 12-inch. You can see it's and shuts off, but you can see it doesn't lower. It's not lowering the tone arm. Even on manual or queuing, that should be up and then down, and you can see it's not lowering the tone arm. This is part of the queuing here. We can push it down, but see, the tone arm still doesn't want to come down all the way. So we need to take a look at that. Plus the turntable's a little noisy. Alright, I got the 45 adapter. No, I did not. I got the post, but I didn't get the 45 adapter. And that's too low. This is for the LP. So I did not get the 45 adapter with it. Just the post. So, oh well. So what we got to do is we got to pull this turntable up out of here and get at this and see if we can't get that squared away. Now on these ones, they have the what do they call it? The transporting screws. If you screw these all the way up, what it does is it'll lock the turntable down so it can't jiggle around. But on the bottom of those, there's a clip that holds the turntable in place. So we have to get underneath and get that clip off and this clip off here. And then we can get that whole turntable to come up out of there. I've looked around at this. There's two screws here and here. And here and here. And that'll pull this off from what I gather. Not sure, but there is screws on the bottom of this, and I'm hoping if we take the bottom off of it, we can get up in there and get those clips off of that, and then we can get the turntable up out of it. First thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to take this is glass. So first thing I want to do, excuse me, is get this off of here before it gets broke. And that should be just those screws here. Kind of pinch it down, or do we want to just, I think we ought to just take the hinge off of them, off of it. What you can see on the back, we have an auxiliary, got our antenna, and speakers A and B. That's it. What more do you want? So I'm going to get you set up, and we're going to take the bottom off of it first. Well, we're going to take the lid off of it, and then take the bottom off of it and see if we can't get the turntable up out of it. I think I'm just going to undo these clamps. Since they're not that hard to get to. And we can get this hunk of glass put somewhere safe. See, that's pinned down. Oh, I suppose we should unplug it. I don't really want to. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pick your head up here in a minute. Hope this will give us access. Oh, come on. If I turn it all the way over, that turntable is just going to be hanging, and I really don't want that. Let's see, here's one of the clips there. No, that's not. Oh, there it is. There's one here, and then there's one under here. And now I'm wondering if we can work on it the way it is without actually pulling that up out of there. I'm gonna, let's see, tone arms pinned down. That's not so bad. Yeah. A little gummy. Alright, let me take a look at this. I'm going to have to study it a little bit and see what's going on and figure out what I need to do. Since there's no real good way to clean the grease off of this mech or the turntable, I am just gonna have to sit here, take my time, and clean up as much of it as I can. And then we can put some new grease on it, and maybe even a little oil, and we can get things to loosen up. So I think that's all it is it's just all gummed up from old grease. I mean, it's waxy. That's all I can do. You know, I can't, this one I can't pull out completely. Well, I can, but I don't really see the need for it. So, you see what I'm going to do. I'm going to get as much of this cleaned up as I can, and then we'll go from there. We'll oil and put some grease on some spots and see if we can't get it to loosen up and work like it should. Alright, one of our problems is the old cartridge doesn't have a needle, doesn't have a stylus on it. I could have swore it did. And I run my finger over it a little bit and I did get the, the amp to work. But I got to looking at it, and the stylus is missing completely. So all I was rubbing on was kind of the nub left over from the old stylus, the post that holds. But I have a new cartridge for it. Now this cartridge was going to be used on another project, but that project didn't seem to work out, so it's going on here. You can see I removed it. They're easy to remove. 2 screws on the top, and you have your 4 little wires on the back. The little wires, those can be a pain in the butt. You gotta watch that you don't pull the wire off of the connector itself. Now I wrote these down, and looking at it from right to left, it's red, white, blue, green. Let me make sure. Yep. Yeah, red, white, blue, green. Now we can put it up on there and then try and fish those top 2 wires on. which probably wouldn't be too awful bad. Now, is that going to fit on that shell? No. Nope, that cartridge. Yeah, it does. Let's make sure that that is gonna fit. Yeah, it does. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, I think I am gonna fish those wires up on there with it on. Yeah, I shouldn't have any problems getting in there. Now, let's see, we want red, white. And I'm just so afraid that I'm gonna drop it or whatever and pull one of them terminals off. But let's start with our white over on the left side. White. Come here. And red. Now will you hang there okay? I might get a screw ready. Okay, let's put this cartridge about in the middle. It's where the old one was. Here, see, now I can. If I would have waited, I wouldn't have been able to get those top two. Would have been a real pain to get on. So yeah, right under the red is our green, and let's see. So the blue, yeah, goes under the white, which our white one is on the back side here. Okay. So the blue goes under the white. Yep. So let's take blue. And then obviously our green goes on the last one. Cool. Now we got that few things squared away here. Alright, let's check the cartridge alignment. Make sure I got that lined up. Got my little alignment tool. And we want to put the needle right in that red dot. There, and what you want to do is you want to look down alongside here, and on the lines, that cartridge should line up with the lines, which it does. I put it right back in right where I took it out, but now let's check our weight, see how much. A little scale here, same thing. You put the stylus right in that black dot. And we're at 2.8 grams, and it should be between 1.6 and 2. And I like to set them like at 1/8, kind of right in the middle. .28. There we are. Yeah. 1.73. I am going to live with that. So by all rights, alright, it's playing, but it's awful slow. So now we need to figure out what drives the platter. If it's I don't think it's a belt. See, it's pretty smooth, and I'm not sure. You don't need to see that. Okay, there's a spring clip right around the outside of that. I need my little, there's a spring clip right here on the top, and I don't know how I am going to get that off of there. There's no notch. There she is. Alright, let's see what drives the platter. I see what it is already. Yeah, there's supposed to be this is supposed to be rubber on the outside, and it's deteriorated like our belts usually do. So now I got to figure out what the hell I'm gonna do, because even if I clean it up, it's still, this has to be a certain size in order for it to turn it properly, right? Yeah, at the right speed, because it rides on the inside of here, and you can see the nastiness of what's left of that drive wheel. So let me ponder on this and see if I can't come up with something. How are we going to be able to fix that? Because you know you're not going to find that. You're not going to find this drive wheel. That is going to be probably a piece of unattainable. So I probably come on, little E-clip. Yeah. Man. God. Spend half the time picking up my tools. Little plastic washer. That's stuck to my fingers. And that's what we need. A little, yeah, you can, let's see, where's, you can see it's also split. So it's like a belt. A very thick belt. Alright, let me see if I can come up with an answer for this. Now I got to thinking about this drive wheel, and you know, it's just a rubber donut that goes on there. So why can't we make one? I've looked online, went to the usual suspects, and found a lot this size. Now this one is off of a VCR. Problem is it's not thick enough or tall enough, and it's just a little bit too small. So when I stretch it and put it on here, it's going to be all the way down inside. And okay, so I got to thinking, how about a belt? We could layer two belts on there and glue it down on, and you put another one on here, and it would be about that size. But then, nah, that's not a bad idea. That could be an option as well. I had some old rubber rings off of flippers, off of pinball machines, and trying to cut them down to fit in there is just about next to nothing. And they're not tall enough either, so I'd have to put 2 layers on it. Thought about rubber rings that go on our posts. Well, yeah, you could use that, but the problem is you got to cut it down. And cutting rubber is a real pain in the butt. Just like I found some faucet washers, you know, and that would, the hole's too small and it's too thick. So you got to try and sand it down and get it in there, cut the center out, and then you have to trim it, which sounded like too much to me. Same with a gasket for a pipe. You know, all this is rubber, and that's what we need. But the best option I have and come up with is taking our little flat belts from 4 tape recorders and stereos and stuff like that, and why can't we just layer these on here. That one's a little, and just keep layering them until we have it built up enough, and then put that on it, and that'll give us our rubber ring. And it would also, using these little thin flat belts, we could also be able to adjust if it's not tall enough. If it's not tall enough, we can put another one on. These ones are a little long. Now that one laid down in there better. Let me see if I have some smaller ones. You know, we can layer these on and build it up, and then put the solid rubber, put this one on it, and that would bring us up. And like I said, if it's too slow, we can put another ring on it. Have to have the pretty close to the right size in there, or it wants to kind of pucker up, if you know what I mean. Let's start with some small ones, and it's got to lay in there flat. Yep, you just gotta some freezing rain last night, and now it's trying to melt and rain some more. That's 2. And 3 on there now. That's no. I think we're gonna need one more. Looks twisted. There we go. What do you think? That'll work. Looks like I may need to good starting point. Alright, let me get the stereo back up on here and we'll put that on and see what happens. Yeah, let's see how we did. This little guy, we're just gonna, oops, upside down. not going to worry too much about putting everything back on it until we find out what we got going on. Spins. Doesn't mean anything. I don't like the way that sits. Well, I guess that's... Alright. Turn it on. Let's get that out of the way. Alright, I did figure out that this one centerpiece that did come with this will play either 45s or LPs. There's 3 holes here that lets this stand up high enough to put a 45 on, and if you move it over to the other holes, it drops all the way down in for LP. I just don't have the big square black piece to do multiple 45s. It'll do multiple LPs but not 45s. You have to play your 45 singly. So now we can get this all put back together. There's a bearing down here. I put some on it, but I think we're close enough to where you're really not going to recognize that it might be off one way or the other. And I think the more that plays, it'll seed in a little bit more and more. Not sure, but I'll tell you what, sounds good to me. Now let's see if we can get this little fiber washer on the top. Then we need our E-clip. On. Boy, I'm being a little under that little washer, that little plastic washer. There. Got it started. Perfect. Now, let's grease its hole. Alright. Cool. Alright, now we got us, everything's working on it. And all I need to do is I need to get it cleaned up. Put the lid back on it. And it'll be just about ready. So let me clean this up. I'll put the lid on it, and then I think we might be able to finish up. Alright, so there she is. Oh, got something else to show you. I was out digging around in the warehouse and I found the Quasar 7000 speakers that go with this stereo. Cool. Now we got everything for the system. Everything works. Tape deck works. Turntable is working really good. I had, as you've seen, I put ZZ Top Afterburner on it. I know that album really well, so I could really tell if I had the speed right, which is really close. If you're not really listening for it, you would never ever hear the difference. It may be just a tad slow, but it's really hard to tell. Like I said, that's why I put Afterburner in. I know that album really well. And now I'm on auxiliary. So that's going to finish her up. Now we got matching speakers for the Quasar CS4400. The stereo sounds much better on those Quasars than it does on the Techniques, which is very strange, but it sounds better with its matching speakers. So I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. And I really hope to see you on the next one. I have something kind of special coming up next for everyone, and if you've stuck around this long, you will find out that I do have something special coming up. Hopefully I can get it done. We'll see what happens. Till next time, see ya.
Yeah. Sorry, I was like, what is he trying to do?